Hello everyone, welcome to LolKing's Pick of the Week. My name is Chakras, and each week we'll be highlighting a champion that we think is really strong in the current meta, whether its popularity comes from ranked games, competitive play, or even both. Today we look at Soraka, played in the support role. Now, apart from the times that Immortals support Adrian picked her up in competitive, she is seldomly seen there. That said, she is one of the highest run rates in ranked games right now, and with good reason, as her healing can be absolutely game-changing. Let's start with her setup. There's a ton of options for Soraka's runes, but I'll keep it simple so you don't have to dedicate too many extra rune pages in case you want to play her. For Soraka, you can run Armor Marks, Health Seals, Magic Resistance Glyphs, and Health Regeneration Quintessences. This is a fairly standard setup that gives Soraka early stats that she needs. Health regeneration is a very important stat for Soraka, as her heal depletes her own health bar. However, there are other setups you can run. Ability power is a pretty solid stat for her right now, as her heal ratios are pretty high, not to mention her silence, so you can run AP quintessences and glyphs, for example, up to you. For Masteries, you want to run 0, 18, 12 with Windspeaker's Blessing as your keystone. There isn't much to discuss here. As a healer, you obviously want the keystone that makes your heals stronger and gives extra resistances to your teammates, as you'll be healing for 90% of the game. You can change some mastery points, but for the most part you shouldn't deviate too much from this setup. For skill order, you have two options. It's a toss-up between maxing Q or W first. Maxing Q first means you do more damage, increase the slow potency, and increase the healing you get from landing it on an enemy. Ranks in Starcall also increase the rejuvenation effect on a target that you heal with W for a longer duration, going from 3 seconds to 5. On the other hand, maxing W, Astral Infusion, will reduce the cooldown and increase the heal by 30 HP per rank. Right now, most high elo players are moving to Qmax, as it makes you better at trading and increases the heal over time on teammates when you W them, but maxing W is still completely viable. Your E, Equinox, is now maxed last. The root duration goes up and cooldown goes down significantly, but you really need to max out Q and W first. Moving on to your item build, nothing is really set in stone aside from the mandatory Sightstone purchase. You can start with either Spellthief's Edge or Ancient Coin. The first favors trading, as you'll gain gold from hitting the opponent. The other is best if you want to play super passive and just get gold from minions that die. After that, there isn't a fixed core build. Most players prefer getting the Sightstone upgrades, Eye of the Watchers or Eye of the Oasis. These Sightstone upgrades give you an extra ward charge, a slight increase in health, and still let you keep the passive gold benefits of Frostfang or Nomad's Medallion. That said, Talisman and Frost Queen's Claim are still valid alternatives if you really want the actives. For boots, you'll mostly want to get Ionian Boots of Lucidity for cooldown reduction, but Boots of Swiftness make you more mobile, which is always important seeing how squishy you are. There are a ton of situational items that Soraka can build. Locket of the Iron Solari is great against heavy magic damage, Ardent Sensor is great if you're ahead and want to give extra damage to your carries when you heal them, and Mikhail's is a fantastic item with a heal and a cleanse type active that you can use to save your teammates or yourself. Now that we've looked over her setup, let's talk about how she fares in different stages of the game. In the early game and when laning, Soraka plays mainly a passive role. In some matchups where kill pressure is lower, like against Janna or Morgana, she can play a bit more aggressively, but for the most part, you want to be playing quite defensively to avoid getting hit. Soraka thrives in lane by avoiding taking damage and simply healing her AD carry when he goes for a trade. For the most part, you'll be playing like this unless you see a window where you can get in closer to hit an enemy with Starcall to heal back up. From level 6 onwards, you should remind your teammates you have a global ultimate. You can absolutely change the course of a duel on another part of the map by simply ulting. By mid-game, you should already have one item besides your Sightstone. Nothing really changes, you just need to be in the back of every teamfight or skirmish to avoid getting focused. Soraka does really well in small skirmishes where she can focus heal one target. Her silence is an extremely strong ability, and if used correctly and chained with other crowd control abilities, you'll be able to keep them from moving or casting spells for quite a long duration. By late game, your opponents have probably realized they really need to focus you, so positioning is key. Burst mages and assassins are your biggest nemesis, and they will constantly try to burst you down, so make sure you itemize correctly to survive against them while you keep your team alive. Try to keep your carries alive, but don't go too far forward to save them. If you're ever out of position, the enemy will make sure to remind you that you're extremely squishy. Lastly, let's look at some quick tips to improve your Soraka play. Remember to constantly look at your team's portraits after level 6, they might be on the other side of the map, but if you see that they're low, you can use your ultimate to help them escape or turn the tide of a duel, not to mention it's a great way of stacking up assists. Your ultimate heals 50% more to targets that are below 40% HP. This is easy to see as they'll have an indicator above their head when they're low. If possible, try to heal your targets with your ultimate when they're below 40% HP. Lastly, the difference between a good and a great Soraka is the usage of your Equinox. Against assassins like Zed or LeBlanc, you should wait for them to jump on you and instantly put the silence field beneath you. This will immediately stop them and will impair them from casting spells and thus bursting you down. Good usage of your silence is key to guarantee you survive. That's going to be all for today. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, and I hope you guys enjoyed this pick of the week. I'll see you guys next week.